Welcome to Section 3 of the Payroll and Workforce Cycle training series. In this section, we walk through the complete employee payroll lifecycle, from the moment a position is approved all the way through final W-2 filing after an employee separates. 17 steps, 5 phases, and every control point your team needs to stay compliant and accurate. Let's get started. By the end of this section, you will be able to identify all 5 phases of the employee payroll lifecycle and apply each of the 17 steps in the correct order. You will be able to explain the gross-to-net calculation, describe the segregation of duties framework that prevents fraud, and walk through the proper steps when an employee separates. These are the core competencies every payroll and HR professional at P&J Group needs to operate this cycle correctly. Phase EA covers everything that must happen before the first paycheck is ever issued. Think of it as building the employee's payroll foundation. You start with position approval, confirm which state the employee will work in, collect all onboarding documents, lock in benefits elections, and then build the master pay record in your payroll system. Critically, a second person must review that pay record before the first pay run. Get these 5 steps right, and everything downstream runs smoothly. Before you can put anyone on payroll, 2 things must be settled. First, the position needs budget authorization and a signed offer letter that spells out the start date, base pay, and FLSA exempt or non-exempt status. Second, and this one catches companies off guard, you need to confirm which state the employee is physically working from. If this is your first worker in that state, you must register for withholding, unemployment tax, workers' compensation, and possibly Secretary of State before you run a single paycheck. Do not skip this step. Onboarding is where the legal paperwork gets locked in. The I-9, which verifies work authorization, must be completed within 3 business days of the start date using original documents. Copies are not acceptable. The federal W-4 and any state equivalent tell payroll exactly how much income tax to withhold. Most states also require you to file a state new hire report within 20 days. Once benefits are elected within 30 days of eligibility, those deduction amounts go straight to the payroll team, so they are loaded before the first paycheck. The payroll master record is the single source of truth for every paycheck the employee will ever receive. It must include pay rate, pay frequency, FLSA classification, W-4 elections, state and local tax jurisdictions, benefits deductions, and any existing garnishment orders. A second person who did not build the record must review it in full before the first pay run. This is not optional. An error in the master record compounds with every payroll cycle, so catching mistakes here saves enormous cleanup work later. Phase EB is the engine of the payroll cycle. Every pay period you collect approved timesheets, calculate gross pay, subtract pre-tax deductions and taxes, subtract post-tax deductions, and arrive at net pay. But the calculation alone is not enough. An independent second person must review the full payroll register before a single payment goes out. That review is the most important control in the entire cycle. Once approved, disbursement goes out and tax deposits follow on their legally required schedule. Let's walk through how a paycheck is actually built. You start with gross pay. Pre-tax deductions come off first, things like 401k contributions, health insurance premiums, and FSA or HSA contributions, which reduce taxable wages. Then taxes are withheld. Federal income tax per the W-4, state and local income tax, Social Security at 6.2%, and Medicare at 1.45%. Employees earning over $200,000 owe an additional 0.9% Medicare surcharge. Post-tax deductions like garnishments and Roth 401k come off last. What remains is net pay. Step E09 is the single most important control in the entire payroll cycle. Before any payment is released, someone who did not prepare the payroll must review the full payroll register. They are checking 4 things. Does headcount match the active employee list? Are there any surprise pay rate changes? Are there any duplicate entries? And does the total dollar amount align with the prior period? This review must be documented. A reviewer who performs the check but does not sign off is not providing a real control. This is where ghost employees and overpayments get caught. Once payroll is approved, disbursement follows a strict sequence. Treasury must confirm that the net payroll total is funded in the dedicated payroll bank account before the ACH file is transmitted. This prevents overdrafts that would delay employee payments. Tax deposits must be made through EFTPS. The schedule depends on your depositor classification. Monthly depositors have until the 15th of the following month, while semi-weekly depositors must deposit within 1 or 2 business days of the pay date. Missing a deposit deadline triggers escalating penalties that grow quickly. Between pay periods, the team has ongoing compliance work. Benefits premiums must be remitted to carriers on billing schedules, and 401k deferrals must reach the plan trust within 7 business days of each pay date. The Department of Labor monitors this deadline closely. Garnishments must begin as soon as the next eligible paycheck after a court order arrives. Each period a payroll journal entry posts to the general ledger. Quarterly, Form 941 reconciles all wages and tax deposits with the IRS annually. W-2s must be furnished to employees and filed with Social Security by January 31. When an employee leaves, the separation must be handled with the same precision as the hire. Terminate the employee in HRIS on the day of separation with written documentation. Final pay timing is governed by state law. Involuntary terminations often require immediate or next business day payment, while voluntary resignations may allow the next regular payday. Final pay must include all unpaid wages, any accrued PTO owed by state law or policy, and any final commissions or bonuses. A COBRA notice must go out within 14 days. A second person must verify the former employee does not appear on the next payroll run. Segregation of duties is the structural backbone of payroll fraud prevention. 5 roles must be held by 5 different people: the person who sets up employees in the system, the person who calculates payroll, the person who approves it, the person who releases the payments, and the person who reconciles the bank account. The highest risk scenario is one person who can add an employee, run payroll, and authorize payment with no second reviewer. That combination enables ghost employee fraud directly. Where small teams make full separation impossible, management must review and document every payroll run as the compensating control. Let's bring it together. The 17 steps of the employee payroll process follow a deliberate sequence for a reason. Each step creates the foundation for the next. Confirm state registrations before the first paycheck. Always run an independent payroll approval before disbursement. Keep the 5 segregation of duties roles separated, and document compensating controls when full separation is not possible. And when an employee separates, treat final pay timing, COBRA notices, and W-2 deadlines as legal obligations, not administrative preferences. These disciplines protect your organization and your employees. Thank you for completing Section 3.